lot about everything. I don't know everything about nothing. Okay, today we are at Urban Air. Kids musty as hell. Lord help me. Golly.
Oh my God, he's down.
Okay, it's Saturday morning. I'm getting ready to go on a little run. I have not ran in, I don't know, but my spirit just been wanting me to run, so that's what I'm gonna go do. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I was able to catch my wind. I'm about to walk back to my car. Oh, this is perfect because I came right after it rained. Okay, I'm done. A lot of the times when we're betrayed, it's because people have agendas, right? And in order for their agenda to work, they have to be willing to do things that compromise their character. That's what an agenda is. Something that you want so bad, an outcome you want so bad, you're almost willing to do anything to get it. I go about life with no specific outcome, because it don't matter what the outcome is for me, because I know God is there. I trust God enough to not want to control the outcome. And when you don't really focus on the outcome, you could be more present in the process and in the journey. My intentions guide me along the way with my spirit, but I don't have an agenda. And a lot of times people that have agendas seek out people with pure intentions because they know that they could be very vulnerable. You know, you repeat these cycles, and you'll repeat a cycle long enough, you'll know when it's time to end the cycle. Or something so dramatic will happen to where you're forced to end the cycle. And then you'll know that all along you were repeating something over and over and over again, and you needed to get up out of that. But you don't get out the karmic cycle until you've learned your ultimate lesson. People succumb to their karmic cycles because they got the agenda, right? And they outcome, their their desired outcome is not fulfilled. So they feel defeated, and they feel angry with God, and they feel almost as if like they don't have a point to life. And so a lot of people crash out. A lot of people crash out when their outcome isn't fulfilled with their agenda. And see, that's the funny thing about people that truly believe in God, because I'll never give up. And I see God in everything. Yes, I do bleach my hair. I do my own hair. Okay? And I'm gonna show you how I do it. Okay. So I got the Color Booster by Ion. This helps like not strip your hair all the way, and it helps the color pop in your hair. This is the bleach that I use. This is just a quick blue. It's 1 ounce, and I'm gonna put probably like 3 or 4 ounces of this 20 volume. I usually use the Salon Pro, Salon Care. It's Salon Care brand, but I ran out of it, and I went to the store and I saw that they have a sensitive scalp formula, so I was like, why not? Why not? So essentially, this is bleach and this is peroxide, if you didn't know. And then got this toner. So after I bleach my hair out, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna put this toner in to kind of warm the color up, so it can kind of like match this lighter color that's on the edge of my hair. I got a shower cap, a processing cap, some gloves. Always wear gloves. This shampoo is not that expensive, but it's good. I don't know who makes it, but it's good. So yeah, this neutralizes brassiness, hydrates from roots to end, and brightens all blonde, lighten, and gray hair. And they not lying. This really does the thing. Like, it does what it's supposed to do. So let's do this side, and we just gonna part. Okay, just so we make sure we get all the roots, because last time, baby, I had a patch left on my shit because one of my kids started crying. And try not to scratch your hair too, because when you put that bleach on there, baby. Did I scratch my hair today? Oh Lord, I hope I didn't. It's like Tina Turner.
Oh, said, honey, Ray Charles could see it. Uh-oh, what?
Okay, this is 4 ounces. Now I'm gonna put the bleach in there. Take your bleach and pour it in. I'm gonna mix it, okay? You just mix it around. You see how it look. Just mix it. Now, I am in no way a hair care professional. I am not a stylist. I am not licensed to do this. But it's chemistry. Simple chemistry, okay? It tell you the ratio of how to do the stuff, and I just do it, okay? Like I said, I used to do this in high school, and I used to use 40 volume. Ugh. You using a 30, 40 volume on your hair, baby, you a bad mamma jamma. Okay, so boom, that's the consistency you want it. So now that that's in, now you pour in your booster. Okay, down the hatch. I'm gonna start with the back because the front don't take no time to turn, and I'll be needing time to part out the back. So I just start with the back. So you put some down. You don't gotta super oversaturate your hair. You do the perimeter last. So you just put a little boom, 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 boom. You go down, you go up, you go to the next part. But I did that. Okay, so now I can do this part. Watashi wa sta. That song, the devil made that song, because why is that so catchy? Because it's weird, and I feel like when you sing them songs, you feel like you chanting the devil or something. It's weird. I grew up going to church, but I ain't been like no Bible thumper. But baby, I be reading the Bible now, because in these days, baby, in this age, in my big age, girl, life will test you, and you ain't got nowhere to run but to God. You better run to God. You better run to God. Y'all seen the last video. Don't be telling nobody else your problem. You better tell God. Tell God and God only. You be trying to vent to somebody thinking that they gonna give you some. They be in the background snickering, laughing. Yeah, glad she going through that shit. Now we gonna do the front. So let's talk about grief. Okay, grief is one of them things. I don't know if y'all. Well, y'all can't know because y'all don't know me. But I call myself Joe's daughter. I was very close to my daddy. He got sick in 2008 when I went away to college, and he was sick for like almost a year, real sick, where he couldn't digest his food at all, and ultimately he wound up on the transplant list needing like 5 organs. He ended up getting a match. He got a multivisceral transplant, and he lived with his organs for 18 months, and then he had a stroke and died. Throughout that time, you know, I took care of him while I was in school and working and stuff, and we were already close, but that brought us even closer. And you know, I just witnessed God's miracle. I witnessed my father be humbled. I watched my daddy pray. I just watched my dad like go through a complete metamorphosis. He went from being, you know, a self-sufficient man, strong man, you know, go to work out. My dad used to run like 5 miles a day when he would go running. And it turned into where he couldn't even walk, and I had to teach him how to walk. So I totally watched my daddy go from like the man of the house, the provider, the protector, all that, to like my baby essentially. And after he died, I died with him, and I had to figure out my life. I finished nursing school. I became a nurse, and then I became a mom. And yeah, I have mastered, I don't want to say I've mastered, because I don't think I've mastered anything. I'm still learning myself. And I always want to be learning. I don't never want to say like, but I know a lot about everything. I don't know everything about nothing. In that time frame from my dad in I lost my dad in 2011. From 2011 to 2021, when I had my son Sosa. Whoo, child. I lost my dad. I lost my auntie to overdose. I lost my uncle to overdose. I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's and sepsis. And I lost my mom. Okay, I lost my nana, which is my mother's mother. I lost my nana and my mom within 45 days of one another. So my nana died October 28th. My son was born November 25th. My mom died December 4th. So yeah, I've been going through. So when it's come to grieving, I think I know a lot about it because I've had to navigate in that space. I've had to navigate grief, being, you know, a regular, you know, person. I had to navigate being a mom, and yeah, it ain't no hoe, and it'll come at random times. Like when I lost my dad, I cried for 5 years straight. I hope this turn. I cried for 5 years straight, no lie. Like I would cry on my way. Like I would cry. I would wake up crying. I would drive to school and cry. I would cry in class, between class, leaving class, driving to work. You know, I worked at a daycare while I went through nursing school. So working at the daycare, I became a nanny for a little girl. She was in foster care, and her foster mom ended up adopting her. And so in that time frame, it was like one of those situations where she chose to start motherhood later in her life. So I became the nanny kind of, and she was with me all the time. So I really think that helped me through my grieving, because I was able to like care for somebody else and get through that time, finish nursing school. And then once I finished nursing school, I started working as a nurse, and I didn't keep her anymore. That was sad for me. And then I got pregnant, and then I lost 2 kids. I had 2 miscarriages, and then I got pregnant with my son while I was working at Northwestern. And then after I had my son, I got really, really sad. Like, I thought, well, when I went for my 6-week checkup, they told me, oh no, we can't sign you to go back to work. And I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me? How am I supposed to take care of my kid? Well, you can go out on disability, but you can go, we assign you up for short-term disability until you get yourself together. But we can't send you back to work like this, because you look like you suicidal from the little questionnaire thing that they give you when you go for your postpartum check. And I'm a new mom. I don't know no better. So I started going to see a therapist, and they trying to write me scripts for, they didn't try, they did. They wrote me a script for antidepressant, sleep aids, all type of stuff. And I'm like, is this going to affect my breast supply, my milk supply, my breast milk? It may cross the barrier. Da, 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 da. No. Baby, I'll be sad before I fuck my son up. So I didn't take the medicine, but I did go see a therapist. And I'm glad I did, because she helped me navigate and unpack what was going on. I wasn't actually having postpartum. I was dealing with grief. Finally, like after almost, 4 or 5 years of, losing my dad, I was at home with a baby all day. I wasn't working. My mind wasn't busy. I'm just idle. I'm sitting at home, nursing a baby, hearing babies cry and shit. Well, my son didn't really cry, but just sitting at home watching TV, eating all day, like, And I actually had went back to work before my 6-week checkup. What happened? I had got a job, because I was like telling myself, like, I didn't want to necessarily go back and work in the OR. I was going to try to find me a job that I could work from home. It was this company called MedCore, and they have like telephonic nurses, I guess you call them, where they do like nurse triage over the phone. And so I was driving like almost 2 hours away to this training. I had flew my auntie in from North Carolina, and I had her keeping my baby. I was like 4 weeks out, and I started going to this job, right? And baby, I went a few days. I was up there pumping, and I just was a wreck. Got into a car accident and everything. And I was just like, okay, that's when I started taking signs from the universe, like, okay, maybe I need to sit down, because maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm, and I hadn't even been cleared to go back to work. I just was trying to make money for my kids. So I was just doing too much. But the therapist helped me a lot. She helped me unpack my feelings and helped me understand that I was still trying to process losing my dad. And, any traumatic life event like birth or somebody dying or graduation or anything kind of triggers that feeling. So I was real sad. It took months. Let's see, that was when my son was how old? Gino was like 2 months, up until he was about 6 months when we moved to Atlanta for the first time. And then I started working down here. I had a job at Emory, and then I had a job at Piedmont. I went to Piedmont because they had gave me a sign-on bonus, so I went with them. And yep, that's it. I just started working like a crazy woman. Okay, so now that that's in, but yeah, grief, baby, it could be a song, it could be a smell of a food. It's really nostalgic. Anything nostalgic that reminds you of that person will trigger you to be just a wreck. So I was a wreck for a long time. I cried, like I said, for 5 years I cried over my daddy. I still, like, if you ask me certain things, even now, like, if I talk about it too long, I'll start crying. And it ain't no, like, it's no date, like, no one can tell you a time frame of when you'll be healed or you'll be okay. Like, especially if you ain't been talking about it or writing it down or, like, processing the grief. Oh, baby, you gonna be sitting with that for a while. So then if you not able to, like, catch a break in between the grief, oh God, dude. Woo! When my nana died, like, and granted, my nana was 85 when she died, so she was old, and you know, not just because she was 85, but she had developed Alzheimer's. So when she stopped remembering shit, and it was really heartbreaking, because that happened during COVID when she got Alzheimer's, when she developed the real bad dementia, and she became wheelchair bound. My mom had put her in a home, and she fell and broke her hip. It just went from bad to worse. Okay, that looked like that's turning, but why the roots ain't? Oh, it's turning for sure. It's turning. Okay, now I'm gonna put on a processing cap. When my nana stopped remembering shit, bro, that was the saddest part. Like, I feel like I had lost her then, but just watching her, like, she was suffering. You don't want to watch nobody suffer. Like, for somebody to not remember who they are, that's suffering. Like, take me out of my misery, please. If I get to being like that. Okay. Yeah, and then my nana dies from sepsis. My mom had just been diagnosed with Bell's palsy. If you don't know what that is, that's like a random nerve condition, I guess you would call it. Like, your nerves just be, I feel like it's like you have a nervous breakdown in your body. Your body process it first before your heart or anything else does. And like, it looked like she had a stroke. Like, one side of her face was all droopy and shit. Okay, so I put this cap on until I see that my roots are really taking. This side is really taking. Yeah. The whole side of her face was droopy, and she was talking weird, like, huh? And then she came to Chicago because, again, my nana had just died, so she had to come to Chicago. And she just got real sad. She was real sad. And then my mom died. She didn't even get to hold my son. And one day, my daughter woke up. My daughter woke up and was like, I want my grandma. And I was like, that's weird. She woke up saying that. What's wrong? And then it was odd to me because my mom usually would call me like after I had the baby. Well, my mom would call me in the morning anyway because that would be our time that we talked. But after I had the baby, after I had Sosa, she would call me and check on me like, you need anything? I'm here. You want me to come get the kids? Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm like, damn, why she ain't called me? It's like 10:30. Why she ain't called me yet? And she had the kids the day before, like the night before we had went and got them late at night. And yeah, she didn't call me. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm calling her phone. She ain't answering. What the fuck going on? So basically, when she didn't answer the phone, I FaceTimed her, I called her, I texted her. My heart, like, I felt something in me, like, I didn't feel right. And then, right after that, her boyfriend calls my baby daddy, like, have you spoke to Susan? He called her Susan. Have you spoke to Susan? I haven't heard from her. That ain't like my mama. So I'm like, okay, something ain't right. I gotta go. I left my baby there. I left my kids at the house. I got in the car and I drove to my daddy's condo where my mom was staying. And when I got there, and that, mind you, I'm 9 days out. I had just had my baby, and I had him at home, so I wasn't on no medicine or nothing. I ran upstairs and I put my key in the door, and she had the top latch on, and my heart but I wanted to be hopeful, so I'm like, Mom, and I'm listening in, and it was like the quietness that was in there was like, you could just tell it wasn't nobody alive in there. And I'm like, Mom, and I'm like yanking at the door, the chain on the door. I'm like, fuck, how I'm finna get in? And I'm like, Mom, come open the door. I'm screaming her name. Ain't nobody saying nothing. So I bust the door through. And I'm so sore. And as soon as I turned the corner, I ran to her room and she was gone. And, you know, I checked for a pulse. I tried to do CPR. But she was dead already. She had been dead too, because the rigor mortis was starting to set in. And I just looked in the mirror and I just screamed and I cursed and I was yelling and I called 911 and it just, I don't know, y'all. It's still hard for me to tell this story because it's hard for me to tell this story because I know my kids watch this. My son, you know, it was fucking 2 weeks before his 6th birthday. So it's hard for me to tell this story because I know my son is watching this, I know my daughter watching this, and they were really close to my mom, so I got to be very mindful of how I tell the story. But man, that's still, and grieving my mom is different from grieving my dad, because like it's just different. I don't know, maybe because like I was closer to my dad, and I processed losing my dad as a child. Like, even though I was 21 and I was an adult and I was paying my own bills and stuff, I still feel like I was a baby. Like, my daddy took care of me. Like, anything I ever wanted, needed, whether it been advice, emotional support, money, anything that I ever needed from my daddy, he was always there, and I was always there for him. Like, we just had a different dynamic. I felt like his baby. My mama was more of like that family member that you really don't see eye to eye with, but y'all family, and like y'all got each other back. Like, that's how me and my mama was. We didn't agree on a lot of stuff, and my mom was very secretive, and she didn't open up a lot to me. I don't know, I'm still processing that too, but she didn't tell me a lot of stuff, and I didn't start getting an understanding of her until after she died, because now she's visiting me. But yeah, it was really difficult, because I processed losing my mom as an adult. Like, I was a mom of 3, and as an adult child, I had already went through this phase with her where we were angry with each other. We was like real tumultuous in our relationship, and then once I had my daughter, I was able to see her for the woman and not just the mom, and I was able to like exercise grace and love her for who she really was. And it was just beautiful to be able to heal through that and love my mom for who she was, and like us to be building our relationship. So, you know, when she died, I didn't have any like regrets or words left unsaid. Like I was able to express how much I appreciated her and how great of a grandma she was. Like, my mom was the best, man. Like, grandma, what? My mama had that grandma thing on lock. Cause that's why I take my kids to the library, and like, I'm real structured with my kids because of my mom. For sure, 100%. 100%. My mom was very structured and like took on like the authoritative parent. Like, she was for sure the strict parent. Like, wouldn't let me go across the street to Fudd Records. Like, my mama did not play. Okay, y'all see that? She ain't beat me, but she did not play. She choked me off my feet once, but baby, she ain't beat me. She ain't beat me. But you know, when you got a parent that you fear, they don't gotta put their hand on you. they don't gotta beat your motherfucking ass. They could just look at you. My mama would look at me and cut me with her eyes, and I'd be like, oh my god. Oh my god. This lady is delulu. Okay, so we gonna let that sit a little longer. I should've, cause baby, all this in the front look colored. Not all the way, but that really went. I need the rest of this to go. Hold on. So yeah, that's what I'll be trying to like focus on now. Like, just trying to make my ancestors proud, make my mom and my daddy proud, and I just want God to trust me. So I'm posting this stuff because God willing, this helps somebody else navigate through their grief. I'm still dealing with it, but I've grown in it, and I can tell, like, oh Lord, that's really white. I've grown in my grief, you know what I'm saying? And I can tell that I'm changing for the better, and I'm able to help other people navigate through their grief. I got a buddy that just lost her mom, and just being able to honor your people and, you know, send them like travels and put them on your altar so they don't feel like they being forgotten when they transition. You know, all that matters. Okay, so we gonna let this sit for probably another, cause baby, I need all this to change. I don't need no spots. Let me look in the middle of my hair, baby, cause ain't nobody got time. It matters. Honor your ancestors. Okay, get to know them and honor them, cause they be waiting. Don't nobody want to be forgotten. What would I suggest you do if you are grieving? What did I do to help me get through my grief? So what I did to get through my grief with my dad, initially, I would cry. I would exercise. I would write my feelings down. Oh Lord, I hope I ain't trying to turn my eyebrows. Hold on. I would write my feelings down. I started praying. And I just allowed myself to feel my emotions, because for so long I was just like getting up, going to work, like an autopilot. But when I had my son, I had to sit down. I was forced to sit down. I had the C-section, and I was in the house, and I was like, oh my God, I ain't had nowhere to look but in the mirror and at myself and see my daddy and myself and really process that, like understanding what happened, understanding why it may have happened, even if you don't have a whole like total understanding of it. Just understanding that God do everything for you. Like, everything that happens in your life is for you. Like, it's to help you grow. And when you start looking at stuff like that, you are able to like see life in a different perspective. It's all about your perspective. Grieving when I lost my auntie, again, I had got pregnant with Gino right around the time I lost my aunt. That was in early March of 2015. That made me, and when I lost my dad, I was angry. I was very angry because I felt like I was the only one like helping take care of him. I know me and my mom had a lot of burnout because my mom was living with him, and although I wasn't living with them, I might as well have, because I was, you know, managing his meds and picking his meds up and taking him to and from Indianapolis to the doctor, doing his ostomy care, changing his central line, meeting with his nurse, doing his NG tube, doing his G tube meds, just doing everything, doing his TPN every night. It just was a lot. So I was angry because, you know, I have two older sisters and they didn't help with my dad. So I was really angry for a long time. It wasn't until after my daddy died and I met up with my sisters and like got drunk and was able to get that off my chest, because I was real mad, real bad. But knowing that happened for me, like I learned so much through that, and I ended up using that knowledge and that experience that I had with my dad to help me in my nursing care. So it was a win for me. And you know, just for my daddy to know how much I loved him and how much I didn't care, like your ostomy bag could explode on me, I don't, like, you are my dad, like I love you, daddy. But I was angry, I was sad, of course. It didn't make me want to drink. Some people turn to liquor and alcohol. I did that when my daddy was sick, because I didn't know how else to cope with like the unknown. I didn't know which way this would go. Like when before he got his transplant, I didn't know, so I just was drinking, like whatever, like YOLO. That's when everybody was saying YOLO. And then once he got his transplant, I'm like, okay. And then when I realized like the transplant ain't, like, that don't cure you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take medicine for the rest of your life. He was taking like 80 pills a day. We had to go get him labs every few weeks to make sure that his organs weren't rejected. It was a lot, y'all. And then I'm not even like, if documenting the process was a thing back then, I would have documented it, because it was so many emergent trips and close calls and near-death experiences that my daddy went through that I witnessed and helped him, like, assist in a miracle to heal my daddy. Like, it was so much. I went through so much, like, and I just used to be just getting through it, because what else was I gonna do? Give up? So, what else? See, I don't like how this is looking, and this is why I might have to do a round 2 on it, because I don't like this. What else can I tell you? When I lost my mom, I was angry again. I was very angry. I was very angry. And then I got sad. I got really sad. Because then you start thinking about, like, what they miss out on. Like, when I lost my dad, I thought about, like, oh, now I don't ever want to be married. I don't ever want to have, like, no ceremony, because no one's going to walk me down the aisle. Just, you know, even when I graduated college, I was, like, blah. I didn't really even care. Like, because my daddy wasn't there. And he was my biggest cheerleader. What else? Yeah, you angry. And then when you had your, like, it turned into, like, when it first happens, anything that will remind me of somebody that I'm grieving would make me extremely sad. Now, when I see things that remind me of my dad or my mom or my nana or my auntie or my uncle, I smile and I pray and I thank God for them sending me signs and synchronicities, and that's their way of telling me that they with me. So that's how I process it now. I also went through a thing. Not only did I lose my mother and my father, I also lost a child. And I still do get sad, like, around my daddy's birthday or his anniversary. My daddy's anniversary is August 15th. So around his anniversary, I used to get sad. Like around Father's Day, I would get sad. Around any of holidays, I would get super sad, because me and my dad were big on holidays, up until the point where, like, After my daddy died, I didn't even celebrate holidays. Like, don't call me or wish me nothing. Merry Christmas, nothing. Please don't, like, I'm turning my phone on D&D. And then when I had my son, I'm like, well, I gotta celebrate Christmas for him because it's Christmas and that's for kids and blah, 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 blah. So I slowly started integrating, you know, celebrations back into my life. But like after my daddy died, I was dead on the inside, y'all. Like I ain't even gonna cap. I didn't care about nothing. So yeah. Yeah, and this whole thing has like really called me to be more present and to enjoy the moments because you don't get them back. Like I'll never be this young again. I'll never get the moments back with my kids again. So I just try to cherish every moment and like try to take the good out of every situation, even if it's not ideal or, you know what I'm saying? I just try to make the best of it and know that like, no matter what I'm learning, it's for me to learn something through the situation, through the experience. So it's just like changing your perspective on how you view death. Because if you view death as like the end all be all, you will never see these people again type vibe, then yeah, I understand why you would be sad with it. If you're able to like transmute it and understand that like you can call them back into the spiritual realm and communicate with them and honor them on your altar and celebrate them and have them help you, guide you through your life. Like, I got angels on deck. Okay? Okay, let me go, baby. Okay, y'all see it. I'm gonna go wash it out. I'll be back. Okay, well, I had to take a break. I just washed the dye of my hair. I had to stop and take a milk break. So, all right. Okay, I did my hair. I want y'all to see how it turned out. I just gotta tone it, but I gotta put my sons in the tub real quick. Down 911 when you in trouble. They in the tub. I'm finna mix my toner. So this is the Wello toner. I love Wello products, but I'm about to mix. I'm gonna just do 2 to 1. This a one. Oh, then I'm gonna put this in there. Y'all, I be having it. Y'all see what this is life. This is life. What? Oh, that is strong. Let me open the window. Alright, we're gonna have to get them out, so I need to hurry up and do this. Cause this side is darker than this side. I hope I ain't got no holes. Oh, that is so strong. That is strong, baby. Nope, it went thoroughly. I did a good job. I did a real good job. Okay, so I mixed my toner. I'm gonna put it on. I put this cap on, and I'm gonna keep it on for probably like 15 minutes. This is liquidy, so kind of mix it in. Oh, it's so strong. I shouldn't even have them in this room. They'll be alright. Like your hair is at its most fragile state right now, so you just want to do everything real gentle. Mommy is so proud. Huh? What's wrong, y'all? What's wrong? What? What does that mean? What do that mean? What do that mean? I had bought like a beach pail set, like sand kit for Sosa, for his water table, and made the mistake of letting him bathe with it. Baby, he filled that bucket all the way up, that pail, whatever you want to call it. He filled the pail all the way up. He filled that pail all the way up. Now they in here eating the bath water, Lord. They eating the bubbles. Let me get them out of here. Y'all, he filled the pail up and dumped it on the floor. That is really loud. Super loud. Okay, I'm just gonna lather this on. Stop drinking the bath water, Sosa. Come on now. Okay.
I got my socks. That won't even help play.
I hope it don't hurt.
I'm trying to take my socks off.
Girl, take your socks. Why do kids take their socks off last? And you butt naked and you got socks on. And you don't have the balance to take your sock off while you're standing up. So you gotta sit your naked ass on my rug. That gives me the creeps. They make me want to change my rug out every single time. And every single kid does it. Why?
I cannot sit on the wall.
Well, you don't, but your brothers do. And it's gross. I done grabbed the wrong color. Look at that. It look gray. Damn it. Maybe when I wash it out, it ain't gonna look like that. Okay. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. My hair is gray. That is gray. This is not gonna work for me. This is just not gonna work. But I can't. It almost look green. Like I can't get jiggy with this. He got on 2 different shoes. Once again. On the wrong feet. Once again. Okay, we're going to see. What are we going to see again? We're getting ready to go see Despicable Me 4. And my hair is toe up, so don't even judge. Alright. Okay, we are at
I'm playing Roblox.
You playing Roblox? Okay, we eating breakfast, brunch, whatever.
I'm playing Roblox. What can I play?
We playing. I'm saying I'm playing Roblox. We about to eat. Okay, my hair was purple, so I had to come back in and re-bleach the roots. I'm about to rinse this out, and then I'm gonna tone my hair again with the natural blonde, the T28 instead of the T14. That was way too light. So we're finna see how it turned out. Okay, so let's tone this mess. This is the finished result. It's a little messy because I just was tussling around here, but this is the finished result. Okay, this is as good as I could get it. So I'm gonna wear it like this. So I don't know how the back look, but I didn't even spray nothing in my hair. I was just trying to see how moisturized my hair was, but it ain't that dry. It's a little dry in the front, like right here. But I'm not gonna put nothing on it. I'm just put some oil on it and spray some gloss on it. So see y'all later. Wow. Okay, I just got here. I just made it to Dublin, Georgia. It's a Tesla charger here. About to check into my room. I got all my kids with me. Okay, go. Is there an elevator?
No, this is not a pizza.
Oh, bye, baby. See you guys. See you tomorrow.
Hold on, don't walk out that door yet.
That's your ride?
Is that your ride?
The Tesla?
Oh, yeah.
No,
we
stop.
go.
Stop. Tell us about it.
Oh, what about it?
Girl, I'm getting a whole spill on the Tesla up here.
Later.
Okay, so I got the late checkout.
Sleep.
back home. It's the next day. Well, what's today? Today is Thursday. Okay, so it's been a few hours. I picked their dad up from the airport, and what else did I do? I picked their dad up from the airport. I went and charged my car a little bit, and then I dropped the kids off and ready to just like catch up on my errands because I've been gone most of the week, and get ready for my son's birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow's his first birthday, but more importantly today is my daughter Mira's 4th birthday. I don't think I've told this story to many. I know I haven't told this story to many people, other than the people that obviously know. But in 2020, I got pregnant with a little girl. This was like a few weeks after the whole shutdown happened. So April 1st, I found that I was pregnant, and initially I felt I ain't gonna lie, I felt burdened because he emailed me back. Okay, I felt burdened initially because this is, like I said, this is when the shutdown happened, and I knew a lot of nurses that were making a lot of money going to these strikes and stuff, right? And so they were making like 10 G's a week. And I had like prepared in my mind, like, even though we didn't know what was causing it, how it was being spread, if you could get rid of it, if it was deadly, I had made it up in my mind. Don't mind my nails because I know they raggedy. I'm on my way to the nail shop. I had made it up in my mind that I was going to go and make the sacrifice for my family because that was just too much money to turn down, right? I was still operating in a lack mindset. So when I found that I was pregnant, I was like, dang, like, now I can't go because I wouldn't dare put my unborn child in a predicament of that. You know what I'm saying? I would have been on assignment, and I would have been in a different state. I wouldn't even been around my kids, and then when it would be time for me to come back, I would quarantine and do all that. So if I was pregnant, when I was pregnant at the time, that kind of just eliminated the whole opportunity for me, which was the best thing that could have happened because it really like changed my life forever. So boom, I found out I'm pregnant. I tell my partner, and it's just like, we gonna make the best of it. Like, it wasn't an ideal situation because, like I said, we didn't know what was gonna happen in the world. So I was going to these doctor's visits alone. It was just I just felt alone. Like, it was very isolating. I didn't feel like this was a time for celebration because it was just, the world was so cold and dark during this time. I was still doing my part on trying to, shine the light on the world. Like, before I even knew I was pregnant, I went on a fast, and I received a download about, like, tending to a garden. So I created this big garden in my backyard out in I grew tomatoes, bell peppers, pickles, cucumbers, kale greens. I tried to grow watermelon, but it didn't grow. Anywho, so I got this big harvest, right? But before I started seeing all this stuff, I'm going through the motions of this pregnancy. I'm going to the doctor, and then I find out that I was having a daughter. Before, we didn't know if it was a boy or girl. I knew in my heart that it was a girl, but the family didn't know. So we found out we were having a girl. I started buying stuff for the baby, and then throughout this entire time, I had basically just been like ignoring my intuition. So I knew I was going through I had initiated an ascension, like a spiritual awakening, when I went on my fast. And so instead of like leaning completely into it, I was just like busying myself doing other stuff, like being everything for everybody, you know, ignoring what I needed. Like, I needed to sit my ass down, and I just didn't. It was something in me that just couldn't. Like, I just couldn't sit with myself. I don't know what it was, but I just was so busy, like, and so I was exhausted, and so I started spotting. Now, I spotted my entire pregnancy, and you know, the doctors didn't see no issue with it. Oh, this is normal, but I'm wearing a sanitary pad for this spotting. Like, it's like I'm on a cycle or something. Like, and it wouldn't be every day. It would be like when I was exhausting myself. So if I was out walking, doing a lot of walking in the sun, and it was a summertime pregnancy, so I was out walking, lifting kids, going, you know, traveling to different states and stuff. This is the year my father-in-law got married, so we flew to California, and I even passed out there. I passed out on Rodeo Drive in front of the Balenciaga store, and I heard something like, "Do this," and I guess when I came to, I was like, "What was that?" And they was like, "Girl, that was you. Like, you cracked your fucking mouth on the ground. Like, you fell." I fell on my stomach. And so after that, that was in July, around the 4th of July. And then a few weeks went past. I'm still spotting. Nothing else has changed. Everybody's saying the baby look good, whoop de whoop. And I just started getting like these downloads that something was about to happen. Now, I had been getting these kind of inclinations the entire time, but I've been ignoring it, right? So now they're getting stronger. And it would be like anytime that me and my partner got into an argument, or I felt, anytime that I felt, I don't know, lower vibrationally, I would get like this pain in my womb, and I would spot, right? Now, these are all spiritual symptoms, but I'm still like, oh, I'm tripping, like, keep going. And I think that's also, like I said, I was still operating in a lack mindset, and I was still like very deep in my masculinity, because I thought the only way that I was like, not the only way, but one of the main ways that I was showing my worth was by earning. And so, you know, when that opportunity was taken from me, or I don't know if I would say taken from me, when that opportunity wasn't there for me to work in that capacity, I felt like I had to like show my worth in other ways, and which is why I spread myself so thin during this time. So the spiritual downloads, the sound, because I'm clear audience, I'm hearing these spirits, my higher self telling me, sit down, and I just could not sit. Like, I don't know, hindsight, I was tweaking. Like, I should have really sat down, but I didn't. I kept going. And so around the end of July, we were having a lot of cookouts, and a lot of like people would just come over to our house, because we had a nice backyard with a patio and stuff. People would come by our house, and we would just chill. It was very hot. I would do water day with the kids. It just was a very like action-packed summer. And so I'll never forget, it was July 31st, and I was out. We had company over, we had family over, and I had on a purple dress. And I'm skipping over a lot of stuff because it just was such a, I ignored so many signs. And I don't want to say I ignored it, because I recognized them, but I chose to just like, I ignored them. So like I said, I knew I was going through the spiritual ascension. So my grandmother started coming to me first. Yeah, I started seeing my dad right after he transitioned, like right immediately after. He's been with me continuously, but I started, like, some of my ancestors started coming to me then. My auntie would start coming to me like around 2016, 2017. And then now my grandmother started to visit me, my dad's mother. And her birthday is August 1st. And I don't know why, but I was looking for pictures for her, and asking my aunt's daughters, like my cousins and stuff, like, what could you tell me anything? Could you ask my auntie about my grandma? Like, what could you tell me? Because by the time I met my grandma, she was already, I don't know, she was about in her 70s. She was like mostly nonverbal, and they had basically brought her from down south against her will, and she just was very like, she was nonverbal. So essentially all she did was that's all she would say. Jazz mama something else, ain't she? Like, that's all you would hear her say. So I'm like, what? Why is she coming to me? Like, why do I keep? Because I didn't really know too much about her. I would just sit with her, brush her hair, do whatever she, you know what I'm saying? I would just sit there and keep her company. We didn't never really talk. So I'm like, why is she coming to me? But August 1st, it's like August 1st. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm tweaking because I'm not able to like decipher the message. So July 31st come, I got on this purple dress, we outside, and I'm just like, okay, I can't fight it no more, because at this point I'm like, I'm on low battery. Like, I'm like this outside, like, ooh. You ever watch play Super Mario Brothers, and he be like playing, and he get down to like his life get on the red, and he get tired, and you be running, and then you stop him, he be like, ooh, I'm tired. That's how I was. I was tired. So I'm like, let me go lay down. Like, this is enough. Like, at this point I surrender. Like, I gotta go sit down. She wasn't due until December. So I go sit down, I go lay down, and I go change my clothes, I get in the bed. And this is when Black is King came out, the Beyonce like movie for what was that for? I don't know, what was it for? Lion King? I don't remember, but Black is King was out, and I was watching it for the first time. And it's a part of the movie where Beyonce takes this baby to the river, and she put the baby in this little basket, this woven basket, and she sends the baby upstream because something is happening, like it's a war going on or something, and she like have to separate from the baby. And I remember keenly like telling myself, like, I would never do that. Like, I would never leave my baby, I would never separate from my baby. Like, we'll just have to die together. And right then my spirit was like, no, you wouldn't. And I'm like, let me take my ass to sleep, because at this point I'm tweaking, right? So I go to sleep. I wake up around midnight, and I'm like, ooh, like, I'm tired and I'm crampy. I'm like, ooh, I don't feel good. Everybody sleep. I'm like, okay, I try to ignore it. I go lay back down. Can't go to sleep because I'm cramping so bad. But it's not like contractions that you would have if you were like in labor full term. It's just like I'm having like what I would imagine period cramps to be like. And I'm like, ooh, like, this is kind of like, oh, I don't know. Let me go fit, like, am I in labor? I'm asking myself, like, am I in labor? So I'm like, my little trick is when I'm in labor, I go take a shower. If the contractions keep going after the shower, I'm in labor. So I take a shower, I'm in there praying. While I'm praying, I'm asking God to cover me and my daughter, keep us healthy, and let us be able to make it, right? Because at this point, I know something is happening, right? I know I'm in labor. I get out the shower, and I didn't hear nothing. After I'm praying, I'm not hearing nothing. So I didn't get no confirmation that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get no confirmation that I would be, like, she would be okay. So I get out the shower. I'm like, okay, I'm in labor. Like, I'm not going to sit around and wait. So I tell my partner, like, I'm about to go to the hospital, like, something's not right. So I get in the car, drive to the emergency room. I go to triage in the L&D department. And they just got me, like, sitting there in a wheelchair for, like, 30 minutes. And I'm telling them, like, I'm not trying to be, like, I wouldn't say dramatic, but I'm not trying to, like, yell, because I know that I'm in labor. And I could feel myself, I felt open. I don't know if that, like, if you are able to like conceptualize what I'm saying, but I just felt open. I felt fragile. So I didn't want to yell. I'm just like, I feel like I'm in active labor. Like, can somebody kind of like move me along to triage me to get some vitals, to get an ultrasound, something? And so I finally get in the room and they do an ultrasound. They like, oh, you're dilated and there's actually your cervix is opening, your bag of waters is protruding out of your cervix. And then at this point they're like, we can go in and basically do a cerclage. A cerclage is when they stitch your uterus, your cervix up. Now, being an OR nurse, I do these procedures all the time, and I know the effectiveness of them or lack thereof. So I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. But keep going. They're like, we just gonna sit you here, we'll do the woo, we can give you some medicine, da 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 da. But at 20 weeks, 5 months pregnant exactly, your baby is non-viable if she's born. So I'm like, okay, but that ain't finna happen. Like, I just need to like just stop the labor. Like, give me something to stop the labor. So I go, they transfer me to a room because at this point I'm not going home. So they transfer me, they take me up and on the gurney, and before they transfer me to the bed, before I move over to the bed in the room, I hear God tell me as loud as day, you not leaving here with that baby. And I had an issue with that because why not? I have been suffering this whole time. It was a struggle. Like, I've been bleeding, I've been stressed, I've been, just trying to stay in the right energy for my baby, to grow my baby. And like, now I'm not gonna leave with her. What you mean? So I'm acting like I'm gonna just ignore the voice in my head. So I get into the bed or whatever. Another doctor come in, a specialist come in. They're like, okay, we're gonna do a more thorough ultrasound and see where you are. At this point, they do it. You're protruding. It's actually a foot. She's breech, and there's a foot hanging out of you. I'm like, okay. Now I immediately have to come to terms with what's going on, because now they like, oh, well, we could push her foot back up and the bag, like stuff it all back inside of you and stitch you up. But that's not gonna ensure that you not gonna go back into labor. And if you do go into labor, you're not gonna be able to vaginally birth her. We're gonna have to cut you open. So we're gonna stitch you up. You might still have to go in labor before she's due. When you do go in labor, we're gonna cut you open. And if there are any complications, we're gonna have to do a hysterectomy. What? So at this point, because I wasn't obedient the first time, now I'm having a sacrifice. Do I want to sacrifice me, my womb, my life? Or do I have to sacrifice the life of my daughter, right? Which is already pending because she damn near in the world already. So I'm sitting there. I call my partner. I tell him what's going on. He arranged for the kids to go somewhere. He come to the hospital. Now, mind you, this is still during COVID. So once he couldn't leave. So he get there. I tell him what's going on. And he like, okay, so, you could just stay here in the hospital. Like, that's fine. You could just stay here. And then, in 4 or 5 weeks, you can have her. And then, we could bring her home. And, he asking the doctor like, nah, I don't think she gonna be able to hold the baby in that long because the foot already out. You know what I'm saying? So, then they start talking about if the bag rupture. Then they go, of course, they gotta do they big one. They gotta do a test. Oh, it's already fluid coming out. The bag, the fluid that's in the bag is not gonna stay in there that long, and we're gonna have to get this baby out of her. We don't want her to go septic, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. So they leave the room, and I just decide then and there I'm gonna have my baby myself, and I gotta just deal with this. So they left the room. We sitting there talking. I prayed. and I just go ahead and I push my baby out. And when she was born sleeping. Her name is Mira. But before I named her, I just looked at her. It was so scary looking at her because she looked like me. It was like I birthed a version of myself that I couldn't hold on to no more. She was born with 12 fingers like me. She looked just like me. Like her skin was so thin though, you couldn't even like, her skin was so thin, it was like drying out as she was out my womb. And I just wrapped her in a little blanket and I held her to me, and she just was like, she was moving and she was breathing, and I'm just like, I felt like a sense of hope, like maybe she could, like maybe I would be able to like energetically keep her alive. I don't know, maybe I was being unrealistic, I don't know, but I just was feeling like maybe I could keep her alive, right? So I'm holding her, and they cut the cord and they put a hemostat on the end of the other end of the cord, and they're like, you know, we gonna watch, we trying to see if the placenta gonna come out, but it's probably not gonna come out because, you know, your placenta is created, your body creates your placenta to stay in there for 40 weeks, 38 to 40 weeks, so it might not come out because the contractions weren't strong enough to, you know, do all that. Like, your body is a machine. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not even worried about that, like whatever. At this point, I just want to like cherish the time that I got with my baby, because I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm sitting there, I'm holding her, and then her dad asked, like, can I hold her? Now, I had been holding her for like 3 hours, so at this point I'm like, okay. I let him hold her, and I'm just sitting there like watching him hold her. And they come in and they like, okay, we got to get the placenta out because it's been X amount of hours and we can't let this stay in you. Whoop de whoop de whoop. If the placenta don't come out, we can go in and do a DNC. That's what they said. We can go in and do a DNC and, you know, make sure everything is out. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not leaving this room. My baby's still in, like, no, I'm not leaving this room. So you could manually extract the placenta. So the doctor's like, okay, well, if that's truly what you want me to do, do you want some pain meds? I'm like, no, I don't want nothing, because I don't know if I'm gonna have to like breastfeed like, I don't know, like at 20 weeks your baby don't even have like the sucking reflex. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't want no medicine, right? And I'm already in so much pain, emotionally, like physical pain wasn't even like a thing for me. So I'm like, nah. So she glove up and she reached her hand up into me, like to her, like she had to reach all, because the placenta was at the top of my uterus. I still remember the spot it was at, and she had to go in and literally take her fingers and separate my placenta from my uterus. And it hurt so bad. Like, that's a feeling that I would like I can still feel it. And the placenta came out in one piece, and I was just like, thank you, God, because I knew, like, at this point I'm hearing, like, if you don't get, like, it's either you and the baby or it's the baby. So basically I was gonna die. Like, I was not meant to die, but I was gonna die had I kept being resistant in my obedience. So they get the placenta out, and I'm like, okay, that's behind me. Where is the baby still moving? And he like, I don't know. I think so. And I'm like, bring her here. So he bring her to me, and she cold. She had turned colors already, and she was gone. That was like one of the hardest things I've ever that's one of the hardest things I've ever had to I had lost my dad, and that was, I didn't think anything would be able to like trump that, because when I lost my dad, I died when my daddy died. Like, but when my daughter died, my baby that I had been growing inside of me and talking to every day and like trying to stay strong for, in spite of like all the things mentally that I was going through, man, that was something else, and I checked out. Not how I checked out with my dad, because when I lost my dad, I didn't have no kids. So when I lost my dad, I essentially didn't care whether I lived or died. Like, I truly didn't care. But when you got kids, you can't give up. So I still had to be the mom. Like, I didn't want my kids to see me sad all day. So I had to kind of like, mommy's okay. Like, just give mommy some time and, you know, let mommy go on a drive. I was taking a lot of drives because I just needed to, like, I was just like, what the, like, why? Like, my baby was precious, perfect, pure. Like, why does she deserve, you know what I'm saying? Why does she deserve death before she was even lived, you know? And I just couldn't make sense of it. And it hurt me so bad. Like, it just hurt so bad. And I just remember leaving the hospital, and it's pouring down raining. It's raining so bad, and it just made me cry even more, because I knew she had been accepted immediately by my angels. Like, my daddy and them took her immediately. My grandma took her immediately. Like, that girl looked just like me. And I named her Miracle, but we call her Mira, because Mira in Spanish means to look at yourself. And she was the part of me that I could not hold on to. She was the part of me that I couldn't keep, because I had to grow. I had to be an ascended version of myself. Like, I could not keep operating in that. Like, I couldn't be that person. Like, I was gonna die. I could not live like that no more. I had to change, and that forced change upon me. And it was raining so hard, and I just cried and I cried. And my partner, he was processing it a little differently, like physically. So he was, you know, throwing up. And I'm like, I can't stay at this hospital. I'm not finna sit, because they had valeted the car around, and we were just sitting in the front of the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not about to sit here while you do that. Like, I got to go right now. Like, I can't be in this hospital. I'm never coming back to this hospital again. Like, I want my kids, and I just want to go home. Like, I have to be able to process this kind. So I got in the driver's seat, and I went and picked my kids up, and I went home. I showered, and I just got in the bed, and I just, like, weeks went past, and I was so depressed. Like, I was in autopilot. I don't even remember what was happening. I just felt like I didn't know what to do, like, or why was this happening. Like, I felt like I was in a dream. I felt like I was in a dream, like a nightmare. And every day I woke up, I realized I wasn't pregnant. It was like the nightmare was starting when I woke up. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day I woke up and I looked down, and my stomach was just like, I felt empty. I felt fucking empty. And I just felt like a disappointment. I felt like a failure. I felt like an embarrassment. I felt like I didn't feel good enough. I felt terrible. And I blamed myself for a long time. Like, I couldn't keep my baby, and I wasn't right, to keep my baby. And what did I do wrong? And I struggled with that for months. Probably up to a year I struggled with that, because I was just trying to make sense of it. But it came to me. It didn't take me long to understand what I had to sacrifice. It didn't take long for me to understand it was a spiritual thing. And I remember that emptiness. I felt like somebody just snatched my baby out of me. Like, I felt like, and I wasn't angry with God. Like, when I think about, I wasn't like, I blamed myself more than I blamed God. Like, I never got angry with God, because I knew it was to teach me something. Like, I had to learn something from this. And I don't know. And then I'm looking at my grandma, and it's, she was born on August 1st, the day that her and my grandmother share a birthday. And it just was like, there is no such thing as coincidences. And it just, so after that, like, maybe 2 weeks went by, and I started kind of coming around a little bit more. I may have laughed for the first time. And my daughter, my oldest daughter's birthday is the 23rd, so I knew I had to get my shit together, because I could not mourn on my daughter's birthday. It wouldn't have been fair to her. And I was really trying to, like, hurry up and grieve through this, and hurry up and like you ever felt like you had to hurry up? You've been rushed through your grief. I felt like I was being rushed through my grief, and it just made me even sadder. So I remember going to get my nose pierced, because I had been so afraid to pierce my face. And then research, there's a connection between piercing your left side of your nose. I don't know who pierced the right side of their nose, but it's a connection between piercing the left side of your nose and your womb. So I was doing a lot of that I was just reading a lot. I was really trying to make sense of what was happening, and I was trying to heal myself, and I was trying to grieve, and I was trying to be a mom, and I was trying to, move things along, because I didn't want to soak in this grief and just, like, bring everybody down with me, because I know it could be a lot, because a lot of people have not had to grieve their kids. A lot of people have not, and then especially, like, with you being a mom, like me actually going through the experience, nobody is able to relate to me, because I don't know nobody else that have lost their daughter or their kid. So I felt very isolated. So we celebrated Hova's birthday on the 23rd. We had like a backyard party for her, and I just, of course it triggered me not having my other daughter. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm looking into the sky, and it rains, right? It's like a little misty drizzle. And right after that, I have to find a picture. It was a rainbow over our garage. And then that's when I knew it was her. I knew she come in the form of a rainbow. And Mira also comes in the form of a yellow butterfly. I see like you always see butterflies like brown or blue, but there's a specific yellow butterfly that I always see. And the butterfly, so right around Hova's birthday was when I saw like the harvest on my garden, and there will be a yellow butterfly that would come to my garden every single day after Mira was born. And she would visit the garden because I would just sit by the garden and just cry. I was real sad, but I learned a lot through that. I learned who I was, how strong I am and capable to be, how resilient I am. And it snowballed me into like I had been so broken down. It took steps for me to get to back. Now I wouldn't even say back to where I am, because I'm not even back to where I was. Like, I feel like I've surpassed that version of myself. But it took these awakenings to happen for me to like build myself up to where I am right now. And it takes full surrender. Like, you cannot have 89% trust in God. You cannot have 92% trust in God. You know, you have to have 100. You have to be in full trust of God and God's plan for your life. You cannot hold on and be attached to nothing. After that, I saw myself like, you are attached to nothing but connected to everything. Like, everything is connected. But when you attach yourself to stuff and people, you become worldly, and you lose the dimension of like seeing the bigger picture. Like, I lost my daughter in the physical realm, but I gained an angel. And I know she guides, and I know she watches over my kids. And my kids was so sad. Like, my son, he knew what was going on. My daughter was only like 2. She wasn't even 2 when she died. And so, you know, my son was aware of what was going on, and he's just like, Mommy, but what happened? Like, where's the baby? Like, and it just was so sad, y'all. It's like, I don't even want to like, I got all these people calling me, but it's a blessing. I'm glad my phone jumping, baby. Cause and then that's the thing, like, this year for my daughter's birthday, like, my daughter will be 4 today. My son gonna be 1 tomorrow. Like, I have bounced the fuck back. I am the greatest version. I've never been this greatest version of myself right now. And I'm proud of myself, and I know my daughter proud. I know my daddy proud of me. I know my mama proud of me. I know my auntie and my uncle and my nana proud of me. I'm proud of myself. And it needs to be celebrated, and that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna celebrate my baby like I always do every year. I'm gonna celebrate my son, and it's not a sadness. Like, that's when you know that you've ascended. Like, when that's how you know you've transmuted the grief. Like, I still would get sad sometimes, like, and it come in spurts, but it's not like you know, like woe is me. It ain't that. I learned so much. And like, if that's what had to happen, I can't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning so that I don't have to repeat that lesson and lose no more kids. Like, I went on, and after I had Mira, I got pregnant again. So I had Mira in August of 20. I found out I was pregnant again in January of 21. I had a miscarriage. After that, I was like, what the hell going on? Because I had received a download Christmas Eve of 20 that I was going to have twin boys. Now, twins, my grandmother is a twin, but her twin died at birth. My partner, his great grandmother was a twin, or something like that. And then he have twin siblings. So twins run on both sides of our family. So I'm like, am I gonna have twins? And then I had the miscarriage in January of 21. I went through another spiritual awakening, which will be in another video, because that's a whole wow. But I went on to get pregnant again in March of 21. I had my son Sosa in November of 21. And then I had another baby in August of 23. So essentially they are twin boys. They're like Irish twins, and they act alike, they look alike, they wear the same size, they wear the same size diaper. So those are my twin boys. And you know, you can't take, like, the things that you hear from God, sometimes you can't take it literal, like it's figuratively. But God say what God say, and God say is the only say, and God's way is the only way. So I'm telling you, you know, if something is on your heart and you've been told to do something, you better do it, because it is so much better to be obedient than to have to sacrifice. Like, for me to have to sacrifice my daughter because I wouldn't listen to my spirit to sit down and take care of myself and set my boundaries, and, you know, have firm boundaries with people and love people where they are instead of trying to love people and bring them where I am, or go where other people are to love them where they at. Nah. I'll love you where you at, but I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna come to you to love you there, because that might not be at the same frequency as me, and that will fuck your shit up. So I learned all that in 2020. So yeah, I'm about to go get these nails done and get this birthday stuff going. So I'll talk to y'all later. I just left the nail shop, so now I'm about to go get the rest of this party stuff for Zara and get a balloon for Mira, and then I'm going home because it's hot and I miss being at home. I've been gone for 3-4 days. I'm ready to go home. So, bye.